Hi, and welcome to Priscilla's Paper Crafts. Do you like to give away your handcrafted cards? What about needing a place to store them until you're ready to use them? I have a perfect little box. This box holds about 8 cards and envelopes and keeps your cards clean until you're ready to use them. It also makes a really pretty gift. Would you like to make one? Come on, let's get started. So today we're going to be making our box using the Dress to Impress suite of products. So let's first gather our supplies. You're going to need a sheet of cardstock, which measures 8.5 inches by 9.5 inches. And when you cut that other little 1.5 inches off, you're going to hang on to that because we're going to use that a little bit later. You're going to need, and we're using lovely lipstick today. You're going to need 2 sheets of 8.5 inches by 4 5/8 inches, 2 of these. We're going to use a piece of Best Dressed Designer Series paper, and this paper measures 6 inches by 4.5 inches. And then, as I said, we're going to need a band, which is 8.5 inches by 1.5. It's just the edge of that piece of paper that you cut for the box. And then we're going to use another little piece that comes when you cut these 2 off. There's another little strip, and you're going to cut this down so that it measures 4.5 inches by 1.5 inches. That's what's going to make our belly band. So let's get started. And first we're going to take our piece of 9.5 by 8.5 inch cardstock with our paper trimmer. Let's see if I can get this so you can see these measurements. And first on the 9.5 inch side, which is this side, you're going to put that at the top of your trimmer. Oops. And we're going to first score at 1 1/4 inches. Then we're going to slide it over to 2.5. Then we're going to bring it all the way over to 7 inches, and then to 8 1/4. Then we're going to rotate our cardstock, and on the 8.5 inch side, we're going to score this at 1 1/4 inches, and at 7 1/4 inches. Yeah, there we go. Then we're going to take paper snips. Let me move this out of the way. We're going to use our paper snips to cut this. And in order to save a little time, I went ahead and started this, but I wanted to show you how I cut. So first of all, you're going to cut on the long piece where there's the 2 score lines here. You're going to cut right on this line all the way to here. Like so. Then we're going to cut off this square. You don't need that one. But I like to have my flaps a little bit more mitered so that they don't stick up when you make your box. So I just cut in a little bit there. I'm also going to cut a tiny bit off of this corner here. You'll see why in a minute. And then I also like to cut just a little bit off here. So there we go. Okay. Now we're going to take a bone folder and we're going to go ahead and score all of our, we're going to make good creases on all of our fold lines here. When you make boxes, it's really important to give them really good creases. So we're doing that on all the sides. There we go. And now we're ready to put our box together. Now, I like to use tear and tape adhesive for this because I like to make sure it's going to hold well for a box that's going to be used frequently. So I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put little pieces of tear and tape on my four little flaps. Then, and you'll see why in a minute, on your pieces, the ones that stick out down here, we're going to put one long piece right along here on each end. There we go. So now we're going to take our tear and tape adhesive off. There we go. Now these are going to fold up inside our box. You just want to meet this right into the corner, about like so, for each corner. And this is why I like to miter my tabs a little bit so that this folds in very nicely. There we go. Okay, now we're going to remove this long strip because this is going to fold down and it's going to cover up our tabs that are on the inside there. You're just going to fold that over, and this is why I sliced off a tiny little strip on the side. It folds down very nicely, and it's just right inside your box. Okay. So that's your box, and that fits perfectly your envelopes and your cards. Now, one little thing that really makes a difference on this is to take a 1-inch circle punch, and we're just going to notch the sides of these so that it's easy to get this in and out. And I find the easiest way to go with this, since it's just the perfect size, just find the middle of your box, put your circle punch all the way down in there, and then you're just going to go ahead and punch, and there you go. So in the middle, put this all the way down at the edge, and punch, and there's your tabs. So let's make the box top. For this, you're going to take your 2 pieces of the 8.5 by 4 5/8, and we've scored each end at 1 3/4 inches. And I was leaving this last one so I could show you what we're doing. So it's at 1 3/4 inches, 3/16 inches. 1 and 1, 2, 3. It's just under the 1 and, make sure I'm in here. Here's the 1 1/4, and I want 1 3/16, and it's going to be right there. And we're just going to score that. So I've done that on all the sides. And then before we put this together, we're going to add our designer paper. This is going to be, as I said, the designer paper is 6 inches by 4 1/2. So it's just a little bit smaller than your top. So it's just going to go like that. So on one of the pieces, you can use your whatever adhesive you like. I happen to like the Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, just in case I don't line things up just right the first time. I have a little bit of wiggle room. So here we go. And now on the back of the piece where you just put your designer paper, we're going to put some tear and tape adhesive on each end, like so. Just like that. And again, we're going to use our bone folder and make sure that we get good creases on these. And I also want to add the tear and tape, which I was almost ready to forget, on the ends of this one. So you're putting tear and tape adhesive on both ends. And when this goes together, it's going to be like that. However, don't build it this way. There's going to be a tiny little bit of space, you'll see, so that when we have this on here, you don't want to have that all the way. You don't want to build it without having your box inside. So you're going to put this on this way, and then we'll glue this down. So I'm going to take off my tear and tape cover, there and there. I'm going to put my box together this way. Line this up. And when I get this right in place, I'll press it together. And you'll see that there's a tiny little margin there. And if you would put that all together the way I said, you know, don't do it this way, your box wouldn't fit in. There needs to be that tiny little margin. So now we'll do the other side, same way. Line these up, fold it down, and there you go. And now your box can slide in and out. So you're ready. It's ready to accept some cards. Now let's do a belly band. The belly band, I told you, is you have 1.5 inches by 8.5, and then there's a 1.5 by 4, which you don't need to score this. This one is scored, the belly band is scored at 1/2, 1 7/8, 6.5, and 7 7/8. So you have just about a 1/2 inch on each side. One more time, let's pull out that bone folder and give all these score marks a good crease. So I'm just going to put a little piece of tear and tape on each end. Like so. I'm going to put my box face down here and there. And now I'm just going to match this up on there like so. And then on the other side, like that. So that gives you a nice belly band. But it's still easy enough to get on and off your box. So let's just decorate this puppy. And I went ahead and pre-stamped a couple of elements for this. I've got a stitched rectangle die that I'm just going to put on here like so. And then I've got a couple of fun little flowers and elements from the Dress to Impress stamp set. So on here I'm just going to put some glue. You want to make sure you don't put this on here and then have it on the edges, because then it would stick and you'd never get your belly band off. So we're just going to do it that way. There we go. And I'm going to put my little perfume bottle down. Oh, actually, I've got 2 lipsticks. I've colored all of these things with my Stampin' Blends. And these, I just wanted to slide right under here. so. I've got my high heels. Here we go. Let's see, actually. Yeah. Put one there. And actually, I wanted this guy in dimensionals. Hold on. Here we go. Probably should have done that the other way around, but you get the idea. And then I have a couple cute little roses. All of these are from the same stamp set, and the dies are fabulous. I'll have a list of my supplies on my blog. And I just realized I forgot to put my bow on, but if you like a bow, what I had done with this one, this box here, I had wrapped the ribbon around the box underneath my elements, and I was going to do that with this one, and I just realized I forgot that. This is my one that's for the girls, and I was using the Painted Poppies suite. Although you'll see that I also use lovely the Dress to Impress roses on this one. So there's one card. This one is a gift card holder. When you flip it up, you can just put your gift card right down inside there. And then I had made this card. And one more. So that was my for the girls. And then I have a for the boys. And this one is using the Sail Away, Come Sail Away suite. And again, same idea with the box. And I had my cards in there. These will all be on my blog over the next couple of days. This one uses the Capture the Good. And here's one that is a good man. This one, many of you have probably already seen. It's been all over. This is using the Celebration tie with the little pen. And then I just used the stitch nested labels to make the shirt. And this one has also been on my blog already. This is the Scrappy Strip technique using the Smooth Sailing or Come Sail Away stamp set. And finally, I used the Enjoy Life. Again, I wanted for the guys, and this is, I embossed my biker. But so that's my set of cards, and these are going to be in my craft room, ready to go. I just have cards, and I'm all set. So, if you want a way to store your cards, or this also makes a beautiful gift set to somebody, here's a little box. I hope you enjoyed this.